All right, welcome back here today to another video here on my Extra SROS channel. Today, I'm going to be reacting to Bleacher Report's first 2026 mock draft after the exhibition games and the start of the 2026 college season. And yeah, all my reaction videos I think are just going to be on this channel as well going forward because I was doing them on my podcast channel, but it just felt like it wasn't really a traditional podcast going forward. So that's why I am moving them here. I just think for this, like I said, it's kind of like a burner YouTube channel for me where I can just talk about different things. Here, just want to ramble about the 2026 draft because I'm excited. I'm excited for this draft. So if you follow my content, I've been starting draft content. I've been doing draft content since like 2018, but really getting into the weeds of everything was like 2023, 2024, like those two drafts. And like the first one I got really involved in was 2024, top 30 prospects throughout the year, updating that list as we go along. And that one, man, I will say that is a tough first draft to really get in the weeds on because there were so many international prospects, right? I am watching, and G League Ignite. So I'm watching Montes Buzelis and Ron Holland G League Ignite games. Some of those were brutal watches. They were like the worst team in the G League standings whenever they were playing out there because of how dysfunctional, how young and raw a lot of those guys were, right? And then I'm watching the NBL. I'm watching Perth play for Alex Sarr. I'm watching Jail Berg play for Zachary Risache. I'm watching Cholette play for Tijan Salon. I was watching so many international guys. I'm watching Mega Basket play for Nikola Topic, right? It's nice to kind of feel like I could watch more college basketball this time around. Now, 2025 was also, it was more college based, which was nice too, right? Like, as much as I like getting into the weeds of other games, like last year I was able to watch St. Quentin of Nolan Traore, and I was able to watch Ratio Farm of Essengame Ben Saraf. I'm watching a ton of college basketball right now, and I'm excited to watch like these prospects. There's a chance the top 10 is all collegiate guys this year when that was just not the case whatsoever in 2024. And like this international class is headlined by Dash Daniels at Melbourne in the NBL, Kareem Lopez at the New Zealand Breakers in the NBL, and then maybe it's like Sergio Delaria playing over in Spain in the ACB league. Like that might be our international class. Like we'll see. Guys are going to come out of the woodworks and like kind of come alive throughout the season starting. So we'll see who comes alive. But I wonder how many international guys are in Bleacher Report's mock here. So number one, Brooklyn Nets selecting Darren Peterson. So congrats to the Pelicans winning their first game last night. The only team winless right now, the Brooklyn Nets. They own their first round pick. This is the last pick that they own over the next few years. This is the last pick they got back from the Rockets in that like Sun swap with them in the 2024 offseason, right after they traded away Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks. You just take best player available. Now, I wonder, I think like you couldn't go wrong with any of the three guys in Brooklyn. Like Cameron Boozer, I know the first half wasn't great against Texas, but he really impacts the game way more than the box score will show. And I liked him throughout the game, kind of saying, okay, this isn't going to be as easy as high school or these exhibition games, because Texas threw out some really good defenses. Darren Peterson looked the part in their first game. This guy could be a true three-level scorer, attacking the rim, mid-range jumper, three-point shot, getting to the foul line, finding his teammates. Like he has the modern-day prototypical size of an elite guard in this league. I have seen some wild comps. I've seen some Kobe Bryant comps to Darren Peterson, which is fun. I will say, anytime somebody can get compared to Kobe Bryant, I'm all in on, for sure. They say that Anthony Edwards is the pro comp here. Watching him at Prolific Prep last year, he was like I'm watching throughout the high school year, I'm watching probably like 15 guys, like keeping an eye on the 15 like most intriguing guys in high school before we get to college. And then in the summer, I'll like dive into like the Isaiah Harwell EYBL stuff. I'll dive into like the Darius Cuff high school stuff as well for like my preseason scouting. But like I was in the weeds of Peterson last year, and I'm just so excited to actually watch him play in the college landscape this year, where these games mean a little bit more. And now you're seeing his name a lot more on my Twitter and social media, because this is who Pacers fans, Nets fans, I guess Hawks fans via the Pelicans are going to be watching a ton this year. He looked the part in his first game as well, and he's going to be such a fun prospect. I wonder how, I mean, I think for him too, like the three-point shot, we'll see how consistent it's going to be throughout this year. But man, he makes it look so easy out there. And his like first game wasn't really against any crazy competition. But as the season goes along, it'll be tough in the Big 12. Like his first game against Houston this year, I'm canceling all my plans that day, and I'm watching him try to attack like Chris Sinak, Miles Uzan, JoJo Tugler, and Isaiah Harwell on that defense, and Emmanuel Sharp over there in Houston. That might be my favorite game. Like I'm locked in on is Darren Peterson versus the freaking unreal defense of the Houston Cougars. But he's number 1 to the Nets. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's funny because they took, what, 3 point guards, Yegor, Nolan, and Saraf in the 25 draft. Some of those guys have spent time in the G League. Drake Powell's in the G League. Traore and Wolf, they've lost by double digits to the Timberwolves. They didn't get until garbage time, like 4 minutes remaining. Yegor hasn't really done much outside of some catch and shoot threes this year. And Saraf is going through the growing pains of a rookie guard. I mean, the Nets are a disaster. I mean that in like a nice way, though. Like, they wanted to be a disaster. Last year, they weren't a disaster enough. And instead of getting Cooper Flagg or Dylan Harper, they got Yegor Dolman. I'm sure ownership is like, if this is our last year, we don't own our first round pick, you need to tank properly. You need to be bad. I don't know. Like, it's easy to say that, but when you're actually going through the losses and you lose the locker room and stuff like that, I can't see Jordi Fernandez getting let go. He did a good job last year. He was dealt this team. If none of these rookies really show much promise, though, like, I wonder if Sean Marks would be on the hot seat. But, like, Sean Marks has been there for about a decade now, and he has, I still think, like, he had the greatest rebuild of the 21st century under his belt. I think Sam Presti kind of snatched that with his Shea trade and Chet and J-Dub and all that. But, like, I don't know if you guys were around for like watching the 2016 Nets and how awful they were and how dark their future looked because Boston owned all their first round picks, and you're getting excited about like a Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, a Karis LeVert. Like, those were their main pieces. And then the 2019 season comes around, they build up their value again, and then they're able to get KD, Kyrie, and eventually Harden. It didn't work out, but like, you do that 10 times out of 10 all over again. But yeah, I wonder what it's going to be like for the Nets this season. Either way, so excited to watch Peterson. So it's crazy to see the Hawks here via the Pelicans select Cameron Boozer. I feel like Debanza fits weird in Atlanta for sure. If Atlanta somehow was able to draft Darren Peterson, I have no idea what the hell they would do with Trae Young. I don't know. Now, I also keeping an eye on Atlanta, who has the Pelicans pick here over the next few weeks without Trae Young. Like, what if we look back at the end of the year and Atlanta plays like their best basketball without Trae Young? When Trae Young is like demanding max money free agency, just a storyline to watch throughout the season. But the Hawks via the Pelicans here get Cameron Boozer. This is so exciting, man. Like, for Atlanta, if they can actually land a guy like Cameron Boozer to an already really good team that can make the playoffs. Like, you already have really good forwards of like Jalen Johnson, Zachary Sachet. You have Kristaps Porzingis and Akomu kind of swing guys. I love watching Mohamed Gay this year as well. And Cameron Boozer, I think, is going to be an absolute star. I think he has the highest floor out of Peterson or Debanza, maybe a lower ceiling than both those guys, but this guy is going to be an unreal player. And even watching him and Trae Young work together would be so much fun to watch going forward. It's a long year. This pick could end up being like 8 or 9. We'll see. But right now, Cameron Boozer's number 2 with a comp to Paolo Banchero, a former Duke power forward from a couple years ago. We have AJ Debanza going 3 here to the Washington Wizards. I think like the least favorite guy to Washington for me, like out of the 3, I think I would like, out of all, I don't know. Like, it's weird to find Debanza's best fit over Peterson and Boozer, but like, this team kind of needs a lead ball handler, like its point guard, and Peterson's off the board, right? Cameron Boozer in the front court with Alex Sarr, that I could get excited about. I could get excited about AJ as well, but they have a lot of scorers on this team. Like, if you're really all in about the Keyshawn George offensively, like, that's kind of happening right now. Trey Johnson's going to be a main bucket getter. Bub Carrington likes to shoot the ball. Maybe Cam Whitmore is not going to be prioritized over AJ Debanza going forward, but Debanza looked the part in their first game of the season against Nova, a respectable opponent for sure. And he didn't I thought he made some nice passes, even though he didn't get a ton of assists in that game. He made I think just 1-3 or attempted 1-3 in that game, but it's going to come to him this year. I think playing with like Rob Wright and Richie Sanders are going to help his development. 2 good playmakers running off the screens of like Kemba Keita is going to help him at the next level. So yeah, I think this is a 3-man race here at the top. I'm waiting for my Knicks to lose a game so I could tweet out the AJ Debanza song because it's hilarious. Like, I'm seeing random teams. I'm seeing even NFL teams like lose a game and then they're tweeting out the AJ Debanza like highlight tape where it's like him singing his song and then it's like a slam highlight tape. It's hilarious. I know Pacers fans want AJ. I know Celtics fans want AJ. Like, I don't know where he fits in Boston. Like, I think Darren Peterson probably fits the best in Boston out of the 3, but this is going to be a fun 3-man race, that's for sure. Because AJ does have maybe the highest ceiling out of anybody in this class. Like, you want a wing, or excuse me, you want like a wing that can score at all 3 levels, that has like the mid-range jumper, the tough shot making that Debanza has. He's like Ace Bailey from last year, but a better ball handler, maybe a little bit smaller, but I don't think they're that far in height. And I worry about AJ's handle driving downhill. Like, that is going to be something that is a work in progress. But I think he's got better decision making than Ace Bailey does. I think he's going to be a better defender, although Ace, I think, is actually a pretty solid defender if he wants to be going forward. And I think Debats is going to be a better shooter at the end of the day. And probably a better athlete as well, although Ace is a good athlete. So already got number 4 Koa Pete. So I tweeted out my big board here for the 2026 NBA draft, and I think I had Koa Pete like 13. So I made my top 30 prospect video last week, uploaded it on Monday before the game started on my SROS channel, and then I tweeted out the top 30 graphic on Tuesday after Koa Pete had a monster performance against Florida, which is arguably the best front court in the country, with Alex Condon, with Thomas Houck, and he looked kind of like 2022 Paolo Banchero, in my opinion. Like, that's who I thought I was watching out there. Pete looked dominant in the U19s over in the FIBA World Cup. This is who the Pacers are selecting here. I think we are in a wide open race for the 4th overall pick, or for the 4th best player in this class. I think Pete, Nate Ament at Tennessee, and Mikael Brown, who we'll eventually get to, and Yesufu at Baylor, are all going to be in that conversation. But if Pete is going to be this physical down low, like, I really liked his willingness to be a mid-range jump shooter, because I think that could be a very big part of his game. I think for him going forward, though, like, he's not a center. He could be good enough to be like a small ball center in a pinch, but like, you're not really trusting him as a rim protector. So you would like for him to space the floor a little bit when you get to the NBA level in that sense. And I like him at the 4 as well. So we'll see how the 3-point shot can look over the course of the year. But this isn't like Carter Bryant 2.0. He's going to be a main focus point of this Arizona Wildcats offense. And that's what makes me excited this year watching Arizona basketball. Now, does he make sense in Indiana with Siakam? Not really right now. But I think you got to be excited about this going forward with Pete and the way he looked against like tough competition. Like, Darren Peterson didn't really play much competition like to start off the game. Like, you're watching Christian Anderson, who we'll get to at Texas Tech. Not much competition in their first game. Hans Steinbeck in his first game. But doing this, like, this is the most impressive start by far who Koa Pete played to start off the year. So Utah's going Nate Ament here at number 5. All right, the comp is Zachary Reese-Hache. I actually don't hate that whatsoever. We'll see. Ament's going to have some ups and downs this year under Rick Barnes at Tennessee, for sure. I thought he looked fine in his first game. He did struggle in his exhibition game against Duke a little bit, but it's a long season for Tennessee. I hope Jacoby Gillespie and these guys make Ament's life a little bit easier down there in Knoxville, but this guy was like a point guard in high school and had a late growth spurt. He's still incredibly skinny for somebody at 6'10". Maybe he's a catch and shoot, like 3-point guy when he gets to the NBA level, probably, but you just like, for me, when I'm scouting Ament this year, how does the ball handle look for somebody that's 6'10", 200 pounds, right? I want to see how that goes. And how does he look against some physical centers down low? Like, he's playing in the SEC. A lot of physical guys down there. Not as talented, I think, as last year's SEC. Kind of like the Big 12 a little bit more this year. And the Big 10 is still really good as well. But Tennessee's going to have some tough games. And I'm really interested to see. Because I had Ament for my high school scouting at number 4. I think, like I mentioned, it was up for grabs who's going to be 4, 5, 6 this year. So I was going to take somebody with the highest potential at 4. But it's my preseason scouting. I had like Isaiah Collier as my like number 2 guy back in 2024. And my like first scouting from that class, I had Ade Mara as a lottery pick, who was not good at UCLA and is now at Michigan. Actually had a pretty good first game. But it meant to Utah. I don't really like him in Utah. I think I would probably take Mikael Brown Jr. here if you're a Jazz. But who knows? Maybe Larry Markkinen isn't on a team at this point going forward. Jaden Quaidance is going to be a very interesting player going to the Dallas Mavericks here. Oh boy, the Mavericks are already like 6th in mock drafts. Just trade Anthony Davis and Kyrie. I just imagine this team didn't get Cooper Flagg. Imagine they drafted like Noah Essengay or Derek Queen or who else went around that range. Imagine they took Mike Blanking, who went like 15 in the draft. Why? Like Cedric Catwell, he went off the board. Or like, yeah, if they got Coward or Yang or Hansen or Johan Barrett, I don't know. Like somebody in that tier, right? Imagine they didn't get Cooper Flagg. How dark this future would look. Because, yeah, the Luka trade just gets worse and worse. Worse and worse. But day by day. Okay. I think at this point, this team, we don't know how they're going to look until Kyrie comes back. But I'm at the point where you maybe think about trading Anthony Davis at the deadline. Get some assets. There should be a good market for Anthony Davis still. Like, you're not getting a Luka Doncic type return, but you're getting a good player. And now we can maybe have a top 10 pick around Cooper Flagg, around Max Christie, around some of the young guys going forward. And we can really build like from the ground up again in Dallas going forward. Because I don't think they have access to one of their future first round picks or 2. So this is like the last year I think they can be like guaranteed in the lottery. Maybe in 27 as well. They take Jaden Quaidance here. recovering from an ACL tear. I don't think he played in their first game against last night. Kentucky played in. I didn't get to watch it, but Quainance is recovering from the ACL tear. He was the youngest player in college basketball last year, so he was not able to go into the draft, but he played at Arizona State, tears his ACL, transfers to Kentucky. There's a chance he's the best defender, the best defensive big man in this class, which would definitely have some value. I don't really see the appeal in him in Dallas right now. If you're going to have Anthony Davis, Gafford, and Lively, they need a point guard. I'm taking Mikael Brown Jr. here 100% of the time. At number 6. Number 7, Mikael Brown Jr., Sacramento Kings. Hey, you want to sign Russ and a shooter? Hey, we're going to give you another point guard in Mikael Brown Jr. You want to draft a point guard 2 years ago in Devin Carter? I like Mikael Brown a lot. I think I would like for Mikael. I mean, he's like 6'4". I don't think he's 6'5". I'll take 6'4", 100%. Would like him to get a little bit stronger. I think he's maybe in the same bucket as like Jeremiah Fears last year, in that range right now. And I think there's a chance Brown could go 4th overall in this draft. It's not the best like pure point guard class, especially if you don't have Darren Peterson as like a pure point guard. So Mikael Brown makes a ton of sense to Sacramento here at 7. I think that should be his absolute floor right now. If you can watch Louisville games, just watch their backcourt, like Woolley, McNeely, Conwell. It's going to be really fun just to watch this team this year going forward. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on Mikael Brown. I like him more than like Bennett Sturts, who we'll eventually get to. So UNC fans also didn't like that I had Caleb Wilson, like I think like 12 or 13 on my big board. He looked good in their first game as well. Not much competition they played against, but C-Dub also had some good exhibition games leading up to the season. He might actually be the number 1 on this UNC team. Like RJ Davis is gone, Elliot Cadeau is at Michigan, Ian Jackson is at St. John's, Drake Powell went to the league. So it's going to be a lot of like Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar this year, 2 guys that I had first round grades on preseason, and he's got a crazy wingspan. I think the Jonathan Isaac comp is interesting. I wonder if he'll be that good defensively. But if C-Dub, I think, wants to go in the top 10, I think he needs to showcase that he is like maybe the most versatile defender in this draft class, where he can guard shooting guards, he can guard centers because of his wingspan, because of his lateral quickness. And I think that's where he can make a lot of money for himself and really raise his draft stock. I don't think he's going to be a number 1 option at the NBA level, at least not right now. And what I saw in high school, like great player in high school, everybody's a number 1 in high school. But when you get to the league, it's tough because there's a lot of number 1s. So you have to find your role. And maybe it's a Jonathan Isaac that's a better shooter, maybe a little bit worse of a defender, but still a really good one that can guard multiple positions. And if you can be a good floor spacer and you can play Caleb Wilson as a small ball 5, like all the things you imagine about Rasheer Fleming last year at St. Joe's, but younger and higher potential, that's what can get me excited about Caleb Wilson going forward. Braden Burries, Boston, here at number 9. Okay, this is a little shocking. I did not have him this high. I like the Quentin Grimes comp for sure, especially when Grimes was coming out of Houston. I don't know if I would have Burries this high. I'm a little bit lower here. I'm a little bit higher on like Braylon Mullins from UConn. We know Boston's going to do a ton of scouting in the New England area on Mullins over there. I like Yesufu, but for Boston, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Bennett Sturts would be fun in Boston. I don't know if they would take him this high at number 9. The center class is all up in the air. Maybe you like Kristen Akaton here. This range is going to change a lot this year. Koa Pete was definitely a standout for Arizona. I thought Burries did make some nice plays against still a good backcourt. I mean, Boogie Flynn and Xavier Wayne, not the best defenders in the world, but I thought Burries made some nice plays against Florida. Speaking of Braylon Mullins, going number 10 here to the San Antonio Spurs via the Atlanta Hawks. This guy plays quick. He plays fast. He's got good decision-making, and he's a good shooter. And I think that's, yeah, what you could use in San Antonio. Do they need another guard? I don't know, but if you think like a couple years, Keldon Johnson, Vassell, or get eventually come and go on this team, Mullins can replace those guys and be like a good connecting piece for you going forward. I definitely like Mullins a lot more than McNeely. I think, I mean, McNeely, like in January, probably peaked for me where I thought he could be like the 7th best player in the 25 class, and then it really struggled for him. And you're watching him out there, and he's going to take some time, I think, to really be a solid defender at the NBA level. But I like Braylon Mullins because I think he's more of a elite ball handler. I trust him with the ball in his hands more than I trust like McNeely right now. Heinz Steinbeck, okay, going 11 to Charlotte. So I had him as an honorable mention. I was like debating if I wanted him or Henry Vasar like at 29. Maybe I should have had him there, but like I said in my video, midseason update, this guy could be top 15. I wanted to see him at Washington fully after a very strong Team Germany in the FIBA U19s, and I'm really excited to watch him with like JJ Mandiquit there in Washington this year as well, because he's physical inside, more of a traditional big man for sure. And I think like the defense is going to be interesting. He had a monster first game of the year, but it's not good competition yet. I'm excited to watch him in Big Ten play when he's going up against like Yaxel Lundenberg in Michigan and a Damar over there. When he's going up against Michigan State and their great athletes in the front court. When they're going up against like Iowa and these teams, that's going to be great. Just competition for Steinbach, who's playing kind of a new game here. They have Mo Wagner. I don't know if that's like a lazy German comp. I don't know, but he's definitely intriguing for sure because he's very skilled around the rim and a very good alley-oop catcher too. Memphis going Bennett starts. Is this okay? So this is the pick via Phoenix. I think if you're Memphis, interesting. So this pick is the first of Memphis's first. They have two. They have their first and they have Phoenix's first. Okay. I mean, hey, you trade away John Moran. Bennett Sturts might be the franchise here. Sturts had a good game against. It's like Robert something, right? I was watching some of his film this morning. I'm already forgetting the team he played against, but he looked good. This guy in transition, like when you're watching, I'm trying to think of like a player. It reminds me of like Frank Ntilikina on the Knicks a couple years ago, but you all watch like your favorite team, especially in college as well. Guys in transition, like it's a one-on-one breakaway layup. I don't feel comfortable. I think Kevin Huerter had one against Philly last night. I'm like, I don't feel confident this is going in whatsoever. But when Josh Giddey's running in transition, I feel comfortable. Contact no matter what. He's getting the layup or he's finding his open man. I have no worries about Bennett Sturts in transition. I didn't in the tournament last year against Mizzou or Texas Tech. I didn't in his first game this year. I'm very excited to watch him in Iowa. I had him around this range on my big board as well. And this could be a good fit for the Memphis Grizzlies if they have a point guard opening going forward. I definitely like Sturts more than like Philon or more than Pettiford. Philon could intrigue me. He could be a riser this year. Darius Cuff had a really good start to the season as well. So we'll see who kind of emerges as that guy. Ty Jerome is the comp. I think he has a higher IQ than Ty Jerome. I don't know, but Ty Jerome was a smart player coming out of Virginia. So you have to feel a little bit lower here to the Hornets at 13. Is this mock? I think this mock is wrong. Shouldn't this pick? Don't quote me on this. I'm like pretty sure this pick should go to the Memphis Grizzlies because Memphis gets their pick. Oh no, I lied. Okay, nah, I take that back. I'm an idiot. So this pick is the swap with Phoenix and Orlando. So Charlotte gets this pick, which is now nice for Charlotte because now they have two lottery picks. This is for them taking on Yusuf Nurkic last year, who they turned into Colin Sexton in the second rounder. God damn it. I love everything that Charlotte does besides the T. Salon pick and the fact that I still have to watch Miles Bridges as a #1 option in November. It is too early to watch this. It's because Mamelo's already dealing with ankle stuff. Miller's out for a few weeks with the shoulder injury. Yes, just get Miles Bridges off this team. I need Trey Mann in a scaled back role as an offensive creator. I want to watch the Charlotte Hornets. I love the way that this team is operated. Man, they might have two lottery picks. Probably not. Orlando's not going to pick in the lottery, right? But Yesufu here, I think could go a little bit higher. This man is a dynamic scorer. He's maybe the best athlete or one of the best athletes in this class for sure. And I am very excited to watch him over the course of the season. Scott Drew produces first round picks, man. And Yesufu is going to be next in line. That's for sure. Minnesota going Dame Sar here at 14. A little bit high for me for Dame. I had him lower here. I think he started for Duke against Texas. He knocked down a couple threes in that game. He's got really good positional size for sure. Like he's lanky. He's a pretty good ball handler as well. It's new for him coming over from like Barcelona coming over to Duke this year. It's a deep Duke roster, but he started over like Caden Boozer, Nicholas Amenia. And I think he started over Foster. I forget if Foster started that game, but he does have like 3-and-D versatility. I wonder if who's going to be better this year, him or Isaiah Evans. I like Evans a little bit more. Minnesota, though, take a point guard, maybe Darius Cuff, but like, do you want to go the smaller point guard route again, like Dillingham? Maybe that's what they would question. Number 15, Kareem Lopez to the Raptors. Lopez, I think, is starting to become more of a role player here in the New Zealand Breaker kind of sphere, which makes sense. He's not always, like, he was never going to be like this isolation pick and roll maestro this season. There's defensive upside. There's basically 3-and-D stretch 4 upside with Kareem Lopez that I think his athleticism will play. Like, I think that's what I really liked out of like Tijan Salon at Cholette, but I'm like, yeah, taking him at 25, I would like that, not 6, what Charlotte did. Kareem Lopez, though, I think is much more polished, and he's got way more of, I think, like the upbringing too for what he's done in Mexico and how highly touted he was in Spain as well. So I think he's going to be fine this year. And maybe like Carter Bryant can help Kareem Lopez's like archetype go higher this year, because Carter Bryant looks like he was maybe taken a little bit too low. Miami going Malik Thomas at 16. I also had Malik Thomas as, I didn't even have him as an honorable mention because I was higher on Carter Knox as like a main creator for this Arkansas team. And I already think Darius Cuff is going in round 1. Maybe they have 3 first-round picks. We'll see, but Malik Thomas definitely looked the part in their first game. He is very crafty right now. I mean, we'll see what position he is going forward, but he looked the part in their first game. So did Darius Cuff, but it's their first game. It might be the worst team quality they go up against all year. The fact that the Knicks are here at 17 is scaring me. I hate that. Hate that a lot. I mean, Chris Sinak is on the board. I would take Chris Sinak here. I'd get another big man if you're going to move on from Mitchell Robinson. I'm excited that the Knicks have their first round pick this year. I miss talking about Knicks draft stuff as well. So Harwell, very, very talented player in the EYBL, like Scholastic League last year. Good shooter, but like was the #1 on his team. But man, he has really good court vision as well. He wasn't too involved in Houston's first game. I mean, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Houston with Uzan, Sharp, Sinak, Tugler. I hope Harwell gets his reps this year. I still think he could be a really good player as like a 3-and-D piece in the NBA level. Chris Sinak, speaking of, goes to Golden State at 18. Okay, this feels low, but he definitely has a lot to work on this year with his 3-point shot, with his finishing around the rim. I think he has the potential to be the best rim protector in this class. The potential, but will we see that this year? We'll see if Kelvin Sampson can get the most out of him. He's going to Golden State in this mock. Next up, we have Darius Acuff going to the Hawks here at 19 via Cleveland. Yeah, they have Cleveland's first. I think it's a swap. Oh, I guess Cleveland is ranked, lower this year. Gotcha. Okay, so they have Cleveland's swap. Oh, I guess they added the swap with... Do they have Cleveland's outright first? I guess so. I thought... So this is from the DeAndre Hunter trade. I thought this was a swap. Not an outright first because Cleveland couldn't trade any swaps, but Atlanta's already giving up their first to San Antonio. So what are we swapping here? I don't know. I know what we're swapping. So actually, San Antonio had Atlanta's first last year. It is a swap this year. So we're now swapping Atlanta's first round pick with San Antonio. So Atlanta got that one already. We talked about. Atlanta also gets the Pelicans pick. We're swapping Cleveland and San Antonio. So San Antonio's picking like in the 20s, and Cleveland would have that first. It's basically a 3 swap. So like San Antonio will get the better of Atlanta and San Antonio. Cleveland will get the worst of Atlanta, Cleveland, or Cleveland, San Antonio, stuff like that. It's just like swaps upon swaps. We love that, right? But yeah, Darius Acuff going to the Hawks here at 19. Who did they have going earlier? Cameron Boozer. That's fun going forward. We'll see if it's a new era next year for Atlanta. LeBaron Philon to the Nuggets at 20. I guess they could go point guard. Could make sense. I don't know if like who's going to be their pseudo backup point guard this year. It doesn't hurt to get depth behind Jamal Murray going forward. I think this is a good range for Philon, and I would like him in Denver. I don't think it would be like Bones Highland 2.0. Caden Boozer going to OKC at 21. Yeah, they have the Clippers first rounder this year. The Clippers off to a weird start. I like Boozer. I think there's a chance with his size and ball handling and basketball IQ, he could be a lottery pick because I think you trust his defense over like a Pettiford and a Philon. And he's bigger than Darius Acuff. I don't know if teams would value that more. He's younger than Bennett Sturts. I think he has the potential to be a lottery pick this year, and I was a little bit higher on my big board, I think, than most. But he didn't start for Duke this year. We'll see if he does start for them at all. Jackson Lenenberg going to the Thunder at 22. So they're also getting, who are they getting in this mock? They're getting Caden Boozer, and they're getting Jackson Lenenberg. And they actually had Utah's first rounder as well. But it's like top 8 protected, I think, which they shouldn't get. You never know, though. Who picked 9 last year? Toronto, and Toronto was pretty bad. So OKC via Houston, this is like the last pick from the Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul trade. They take Jackson Lenenberg. So the Thunder basically adding Thomas Sormer, Jackson Lenenberg, and Caden Boozer next year. I wonder if the second apron thing will have to make them trade like a Harnstein or let him go or Dort. We'll see, but they're going to have plenty of reinforcements. Milwaukee going Carter Knox here at 23. Shout out to Milwaukee actually having their first rounder this year. What is a swap worse with the Pelicans? So it looks like right now they're going to finish worse than New Orleans, so they will get their first. I don't mind Carter Knox. So Arkansas has 3 first rounders in this mock for sure, but do you think Knox can help you right away next year? They've kind of gone, like, they went Bogolyub. I haven't said his name in a while. Markovic from Mega Basket last year, and he probably won't even play for them this year. Dane Mara going 24. Fascinating player. Didn't do much at UCLA. He was on my radar on the 24 draft. He's playing for Dusty May at Michigan this year. You're going to see a lot of him this year because Michigan should be a lot better than UCLA was the last 2 years. Although him and Donovan Dent in UCLA would have been fun. Tahad Pettiford going to the Bulls here at 25. Don't really like them adding another guard, smaller guard here. I'm cool with Trey Jones and Josh Giddey as that point guard rotation going forward. They could go big. I mean, Patrick Gumba at Duke could be an option here for them. If they're trying to think of like other, Henry Vasar is still on the board potentially as a pick. We'll see who kind of emerges. Isaiah Evans at 26, I think would be a steal for the Lakers, who won their first rounder this year. This is, yeah, they own their first this year, which could get traded. 27 is when they have to give it to Utah, most likely from the Russ salary dump. I like Isaiah Evans a ton. This guy is a microwave scorer and one of the best shooters in this class. Sean Abev going to Chicago at 27. How does Chicago have 2 first? Oh, this one's from the Blazers. Yes, because that pick is lottery protected and the Blazers are good this year. Hey, yeah, Chicago was hoping Portland makes the playoffs. So Sean going here to the Bulls at 27. Very crafty scorer. What I'm going to be watching for him in Cincy this year, had a good first game, is how does he look without the ball in his hands? How does he look when the shot's not falling? Will he be able to impact the game in other ways than just being an offensive creator? Elijah Freeman, highest I've seen him going to the Cavs here at 28 from Auburn. Somebody I didn't really do too much. Like, I didn't really know too much about. Like, if I was watching Auburn going into this year, it was a lot of Pettiford. It was a lot of Keyshawn Hall. So I'm interested to see if this guy can maybe emerge as a first rounder. Doesn't have a pro comp, but he stood out in Division 2. And I guess Bruce Pearl recruited him. And now it's his son since Pearl retired. JT Toppin to the Thunder at 29. Yes, because they have Phillies first this year. Oh, my God. We just added 3 guys to OKC. That's just crazy. So I guess somebody at 30 has their swap. I don't know if it's Houston or the Clippers. But yeah, JT Toppin. We're just going NBA ready guys to the Thunder. And then we have, the Wizards via OKC getting Patrick Gungba. I kind of love that for them. I think he can go a little bit higher throughout this. There is a second round. So we got Cam Williams to the Nets at 31. Didn't have the best first game, but a lot of people are high on Cam Williams this year for Kentucky. Sergio Delaria. Wow, the Pelicans don't even have their second. Wow. Boston has that. Okay, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Sergio Delaria, very skilled player. He's off to a good shooting start this year for Valencia. I had him as my number 30th player on my big board. Adem Atemna, from Asvel in the Euro. Actually, don't know where this is. So, okay, will be somebody I'm keeping an eye on. Didn't know much about this guy right now. Dash Daniels, 34, so he is sliding down. I think he still has great defensive upside. He's got the Dyson Daniels pro comp. We'll see. The shot, like, he's not been involved at all, really, this year for Melbourne's offense. Henry Vasar going to the Spurs at 35. He looks solid for UNC in their first game. He's going to be just kind of like a physical player inside. Could he be Walker Kessler 2.0? We'll see. We have Anthony Robinson to the Thunder at 36. Jose Alvarado is the comp. Just OKC's getting another draft pick. Donovan Dent to the Kings at 37. I think Donovan Dent should get drafted. As long as he's like efficient around the rim this year, I think he can get drafted. But hey, the NAL, it's always going to be lucrative now. Miles Uzan, who could have been like a top 35 pick last year, going to Portland this year at 38. I like that for Portland, definitely. Alex Condon to the Hawks at 39. They're going a little bit more big man depth. Condon was like a top 35-ish guy last year. Same with Miles Bird at San Diego State, whose comp is Devin Carter. Interesting. Definitely taller than Devin Carter. Going to Brooklyn here at 40. So no Magoon Guath in the first round. Another big that I liked a ton. Thomas Houck going to the Kings at 41. He was an honorable mention for me. The Dean Wade comp is funny. Paul McNeil, I think could end up being a first rounder this year. Definitely keeping an eye on him at NC State with like Darian Williams. Nicholas Abdulas, not a first rounder in this mock either. Darion Reed at Oklahoma. The Alabama transfer going to Boston at 43. So Boston's got some nice second rounders right now. New York via Minnesota, Adrian Woolley. I would like that. I like the Ryan Rollins comp too. LeJon Watts from Texas Tech could be very involved for a good Red Raiders team this year. Wait, no Christian Anderson in this mock either. That's kind of crazy. Ryan Conwell to the Spurs at 46. Okay. Another Louisville backcourt. I mentioned before that backcourt is stacked. They have like 3 guys getting drafted here. Not familiar with Letang here at Dayton, going to the Wizards at 47. We'll keep an eye on him. Zubi Ejiofor, just a hustler at St. John's. Guy's going to do the dirty work. Montrezl Harrell at Louisville. Good comp, I guess. Charlotte, 48. No JoJo Tugler yet either. Caravan could have been a first rounder in 2024. He got that UConn NIL bag. 49 here to Cleveland. We have Mustafa at Cincinnati. Heard a little bit about him. Haven't gotten to watch him yet. 7'2", 250. Very intriguing. UCF 7-footers, Taco Fall 2.0. Braden Smith to the Clippers at 51. I'm excited to watch him at the NBA level. He's small. Like, he may come in at like 5'10", 5'11" at the combine, but he's the best passer in the country. Morris Johnson killed it for Team USA in the U19s. It was like their starting center at some point as well. And he's going to be at Michigan this year with a Daymara and Jackson Lindenberg. Like, that might actually be the best front court in the country, not Florida. Boogie Flynn, 53 to the Knicks. We'll see how involved he's going to be more offensively for Florida this year. A lot of mouths to feed over there. Wasn't the best in their first game against against Arizona. Richie Saunders, skilled player around the rim, can finish with contact inside to Orlando at 54. What is his position though at the NBA level? An already 24. We have Wesley Yates from Washington at 55 to the Spurs from USC. Tomislav Ivicic had a good first game for Illinois. Just the Balkan crew over there. Definitely better than I think his brother Savonimir. Jason Pierre at SMU to the Wizards at 57. Otega Owe, probably Kentucky's best player this year, to Minnesota at 58. Josh Dix from Creighton, who could have been like a first. Was he at Iowa last year? I feel like he was at Iowa last year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But Baylor Shireman comp also went in Creighton. And everybody has their second rounder this year. No picks have been forfeited like the last 2 drafts. We have Xavier Lee going to the Wizards here at 60. Wizards do have a decent amount of seconds. So no Christian Anderson, no Magoon Gwath. Maybe they think those guys are going to be 2027 draft picks. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed me just kind of talking about the 2026 NBA draft. If you did enjoy, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you guys thought. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.